Rebuild Shop, sponsored by Bomber Command Museum of Canada. This is our second episode, and we're going to primarily go through what is being done now and how we're progressing on the spar.
So what's been going on in the last week and a half?
Well, as you can see, a lot of the structure is gone now. We're just down to the spar. Here, as if you might want to see, here's another thing that we have to deal with. These they had a very simple and effective way of locking bolts and nuts together. They used a pneumatic peen and distorted the threaded area so that it cannot come loose. So we are now drilling or grinding a flush surface so that we can actually start a drill, so that we can drill down far enough to remove the end of the bolt and then punch it out, or try to. It might mean a lot of drilling, but this is where we're at. It's
What part of the airplane is this?
This is part of the engine pickup. And
So it has to be strong because it's holding the airplane together, but it's bound to take a lot of vibration, right?
yes, it is.
What are these things right here? You see these? They look like threads or something.
Well, that's how aluminum deteriorates. It's called exfoliation. Aluminum is very grainy. It's almost like a wood, to put it into a paraphrase. As it corrodes, it starts to separate the grains, and they come apart, and it's called exfoliation. That's just due to the elements, and like we previously said, it was in a saltwater environment where it came from, but it's really not that bad for the amount of time.
So what else has been going on?
Pretty well, this is it. We're just about ready to extract the spar caps and take the center section out. And then after that we move to phase 2, which will be removing the front spar from the wing box sections, which are over at the Canada Aviation and Space Museum. Once we have that, then we can start building our tooling jigs and table so that we can start rebuilding the spar again.
How long do you think it's going to take you to do these initial steps to get things in order?
Well, I'm quite happy with the amount of time and how fast it really is going, because NA337, for instance, it was a complete section. All we had to do was take it apart and restore it and put it back together, and that took about I would say close to a year and a half, with a couple of full-time volunteers giving me a hand. Now, the problem here is I'm doing it by myself, but as I said, you learn lessons from the first one, you know what to do on the second one. And like I said, I'm very surprised how quickly it is coming apart, and I can't give an estimate how much time I can have like a whole wing section done. But like I said, it's coming very quickly.
What are these plans here about?
Oh, I just brought these out so that people can see how close a Hastings and a Halifax really are. Now, this is the center section that we're restoring. And from here, right across here, I may take a piece of paper, this is where it's been cut on each end. So these sections here are the next part. But as you can see, this structure, which is what is right in front of you, here's a cross section of a Halifax. Now mind you, the engine mounts look different because this is a Merlin engine and this is a Hercules radial engine. But as you can see right here, the structure is identical. The whole front wing spar as well as the rear wing spar are identical. Now I've got much more intricate big shop drawings, but half of them will take up like 3/4 of this piece of spar, so it's really hard to bring them out and video.
How important are these pieces of paper in front of you?
They're quite important because not only do you get to see visual things, but you get to see dimensions as well. Like for instance, it shows you the center line of the aircraft, the exact distance to the pickup point of the intermediate wing in inches, top and bottom. It gives you all the locations for the stiffeners, and that's how it's measured, in inches to the stations. Now also, these are not a piece of aluminum that has been put into a brake to create that 90-degree brake. These are actually extrusions. Now that also gives us all the information that we need to make new extrusions. And this is exactly how, because it's been severed, that I can actually make a tooling jig working from the center out, that I can put a pin to align the ends, the pickup points, exactly on the spar caps, so it'll pick up exactly onto the intermediate wing.
So show me a point on the diagram, and then show me that same point on the actual structure.
Well, because this has been cut off on both ends. This, however, this is the rear spar, by the way. It is not the front spar.
Okay.
But here you can see this section is what you're looking at right here to this point on each side. That's where it has been cut.
Okay, now show me that on the actual monitor. Show that to me on the plane where you just pointed.
On this piece?
Yep.
That's right here. This is the center line of the aircraft right here, going up. And this is the point that I showed you right here. In fact, that's the vertical support member that is on the ends.
Do you know anybody else in town or any place in the world that people are actually trying to construct an entire World War II bomber in their front yard?
No, not really. But here we have some cross sections of Halifax and Hastings, so that you can actually see what the aircraft structure looks like.
That's the Hastings on top.
Yes, it is. And that's a Halifax Mark III.
And as you pointed out last week, you pointed out the tail is different.
Yes, exactly. Like I said, it's a vertical fin.
Oh, that's on the Hastings?
Yep. Plus, on each side, it has a horizontal stabilizer that is bolted to the fuselage. Whereas, again, the Halifax, it has two vertical fins for the rudders, and it has a one-piece horizontal stabilizer that goes right through the aircraft. Hi. I also meant to mention that Murga Industrial Industries is now on board with us. They are supplying us with tools such as abrasives and drills. Mr. Mercier, who is the president of the company, he emailed me this morning and let me know that he has, let's call it a care package for us, of drills, cutting wheels, grinding wheels, and different other tools that we need initially. So they are giving us a lot of help, and I'd just like to say thank you.
And we'll see those tools next time.
Yep.
Okay, well that's great. Well, that's program number 2 of the rebuild shop for the Bomber Command Museum of Canada and Halifax 57 Rescue. See you next week, George.
See you next week.